Hello everyone, welcome to this month's Gosho study where we'll be studying a passage from the Gosho, The Supremacy of the Law. It is written by the Daishonin in 1275 from Mao Minabu and addressed to a female disciple referred to as Mother of Otto. Very little is known about her, and we learn about her through the three Goshos that still exist. Through them, we learn that in 1272, in recognition of her pure faith, the Daishonin praised her as the foremost votary of the Lotus Sutra among the women of Japan, and bestowed on her the Buddhist name Sage Nichimyo or Sun Wonderful. Although only three Gosho exist, they are all lectured upon extensively by Ikeda Sensei, and I would highly recommend that you seek out the lectures from these two books. There are so many things we can learn from the pure and courageous seeking spirit of Sage Nichimyo. With this, let's go into the background of the Gosho. Now in the fall of 1271, the Daishonin was nearly beheaded at Tatsunokuchi, and then exiled to Sado Island. There also raged a storm of persecution against his followers. Some were incarcerated, some had their lands confiscated, and some were driven out of Kamakura. Now at the height of the persecution, 999 out of 1000 discarded their faith, to which the Daishonin wrote in letter to brothers. Among those who believed at first, many later discarded their faith, fearing that society would reject them. Among these are some who opposed me more furiously than those who slandered me from the beginning. It is therefore unimaginable that a woman who was separated from her husband and single-handedly raising a young child would decide to not sit idly by at the time when the Daishonin is battling great persecution. She is determined to seek out the Daishonin at Sado Island together with her child. For this, both mother and child have to go over passes, climb mountains, and cross the treacherous sea to reach Sado Island. She must have wanted to do anything that she could to lighten her mentor's burden. And if there is nothing much she can do, she knows that her seeking spirit will be the biggest encouragement to her mentor. In praising her strong seeking spirit, the Daishonin bestowed the title of Sage, naming her Sage Nichimyo. Now in 1274, when the Daishonin went to live in Mao Minabu, his prediction of foreign invasion came true when the Mongol forces attacked Japan in 1274. Epidemics and famine were rampant throughout the land, and the threat of the second Mongol invasion loomed over the populace. Social turmoil too was rampant. Now under such circumstances, Sage Nichimyo did not give in to despair, and continued to apply herself steadfastly to her Buddhist practice just as the Daishonin instructed. She once again brought her daughter Otto and travelled all the way to Mao Minabu to seek from the Daishonin. Now this letter was written by the Daishonin in response to her visit, where he praises her seeking spirit and warmly confirms that the protective forces of the universe will safeguard her without fail. Now this is the passage we are studying this month, and we have also previously studied it in April 2014 and October 2018. Let us now study the passage closely. We can see that the passage can be broken down into two different sections. The first section, as seen here, contains simple to understand analogies. Now here are some other examples in his other writings. We can see that when writing to disciples who are not well educated, especially women disciples, the Daishonin will make painstaking efforts to explain supreme Buddhist philosophy from various perspectives, using such simple to understand analogies such that the disciples can quickly grasp the concepts and put his guidance into practice. Consistent with his assertion that there should be no discrimination between men and women, the Daishonin strove to give all his disciples unsurpassed education, often considering them as peers, who would fight alongside him with the same spirit. The second section of the passage reads, "Strengthen your resolve more than ever." Now this point is so important that Ikeda Sensei shared in his lecture. It reads, "In Supremacy of the Law, the Daishonin teaches us a crucial key to faith, for persevering on the path of the oneness of mentor-disciple lies in continuously working to strengthen our resolve. Now, if we look further up the same Gosho, we would find another passage where the Daishonin cites a passage from the great teacher Miao Lo and reiterated to sage Nichimyo the need to strengthen her faith more than ever. Now, Ikeda Sensei explains that here, Daishonin in no way implies that Nichimyo lacked seeking spirit or gratitude, but wanted to teach her a cornerstone of our Buddhist practice, which is the spirit of always moving forward and continually growing. As the saying goes, not advancing is regressing. No matter how admirably we may have exerted ourselves in our Buddhist practice in the past, if we stop practicing, then all our efforts will have been in vain. Now this brings us to the first key learning point of the Gosho, which is to always maintain faith that grows ever stronger. Now life, in one sense, is a constant battle against deadlock. As long as we are alive, as long as we continue challenging ourselves, difficult obstacles will block our way forward. But it is precisely when we are deadlocked that our faith is put to the test. Such a time represents a decisive moment to seize victory. The important thing is to always keep our mind focused on moving forward. The challenge of triumphing over obstacles will itself definitely become the cause for substantially expanding our state of life. If we make active efforts to grapple with our problems, we can definitely change inside and transform our karma. The second section of the passage continues. The Lotus Sutra remains the same, but if you repeatedly strengthen your resolve, your karma will be better than that of others, and you will receive more blessings than they do. Now, what does this mean? It means that while all of us who practice Nichiren Buddhism embrace faith in the same Lotus Sutra and the Gohonzon, it is the strength of our faith that determines the outcome. The stronger the faith we summon, the greater the benefits we will experience, and the more expansive and fulfilled the life state we will achieve. Now this brings us to the second key learning point of the Gosho, which states that the deeper the prayers we offer, the more expansive and fulfilled the life state we will achieve. Now here the Daishonin emphasizes that those with firm faith in the mystic law are certain to be protected by the Buddhist gods, known also as protective functions of the universe. Now this is an assurance that the protective forces of the universe will safeguard all those who devoted themselves to Kosen-rufu with unshakable commitment. Now on this, Ikeda Sensei explains, we gain fortune with every step we take for the mystic law. This means that action taken for Kosen-rufu cannot fail to produce effects. If we are confident of this, and to the extent that we have this confidence, effects will manifest without fail. But if our confidence is partially clouded by doubt, then we will only see vague or indistinct results, like the light of the half moon. Sensei continues, in activities for Kosen-rufu, absolutely no effort is wasted. Everything is engraved in our lives and enable us to establish a diamond-like and totally free state of life. In overcoming our weaknesses and exerting ourselves daily for our friends, we have already achieved victories as human beings. Ultimately, our victory or defeat in life is not decided by someone else. We decide it. A person who steadfastly adheres to the path he or she has chosen is a winner. Now to conclude today's sharing, I'd like to share a sensei's guidance. Ikeda Sensei says, Nichiren Buddhism is the religion of challenge. The challenge of continuously creating in rhythm with the mystic law, new value with a life force that is revitalized day after day and month after month. The challenge of overcoming, with the Gosho as our guide, every trial and obstacle in life, especially the sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and helping others do the same. The challenge of confronting, together with our fellow members, the problems of society and expanding our network for happiness and peace. When we keep challenging ourselves as practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism, no matter what our age, our lives will shine with an ever more youthful and vibrant light. Brilliant achievement awaits champions of challenge who strive with an ever positive spirit. Now, thank you all for listening.